Hey, what's up? JR Noble here, and today I'm going to show you how you can make an 8-bar chord progression, and we're going to break out of that triad trap that sometimes producers get stuck in. I know I was stuck there. So this is going to help you with kind of making your chords and chord progression sound a little bit more interesting. All right, so we're going to start with just these 4 notes that you see here on my screen. All right, and we're going to build it out, and we're actually going to have 5 chords by the end of this, and it's going to be 8 bars. If you see right now, it's just 4 bars. But these are the notes that we're playing, and I'm going to pull up my float key. It says Max for Live keyboard, which is really nice. So the first thing that you should start with is picking out your scale. All right. So what I'm working with today is the B minor scale. Now that is actually a D major scale, but we're just starting from B. So if we started from D and played the D major scale, and we went whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, that would be the D major scale. Now, if we just drop down 2 notes in the D major scale, 1 and 2, then we're in B. And if we start from B and play those same notes in the D major scale, we have a B minor. And so that's the same as the minor scale pattern, which is a whole step, half step. Oops, can't get it right. It's hard because I'm looking over here and trying to look at the camera at the same time. So if we start from B and we use the minor scale pattern now instead of the major scale pattern, because D, we use the major scale pattern. If we start from that, we have a D major, but we're using a B minor, which is all the same notes as the D major, but we're starting from B. And so it has a different scale pattern, right? So it's just a whole step. So we start from B, whole step, half a step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So that's a B minor. All right, so we're going to create a bass line first, and those bass notes are what we're going to use to create our chords. So we have a B, and then we drop down to a G, then we jump up to a D, and then back down to an A. So that is the notes that we're going to use, and then we're going to create the triad chords from those notes. All right, so then, but just playing those chords over and over can get kind of boring. So what I did was I extended the bass line out, and so on this next one, you'll see that if I copy and paste those notes, it would be these same notes here. We'll just play the B again, and then we'll go back down to the G, and then up to the D. But then on these last 2 notes, you see I broke it up. And so from the D, we go down to a C sharp, and then back to the A again. So it's kind of breaks up the pattern a little bit, makes it more interesting. All right, and so that adds our 5th chord that we're going to put in. So now what we'll do is I'll go to this other clip, and this has the triads. So we're just taking this first note, this B, and we're creating a triad chord for that B. So if we go B, and we have B, D, and F sharp, that'll be our chord that we're using for this very first one. And then for the second one, since it's a G, we're going to use the G chord. So you'll see we have G, so it's G, B, and D. And then we have the next note, which was after the G, we had a D, so we'll just do a D major. So that's this D major. And then after the D major, we go into the A, and then we have our A notes right there. All right, so those are the chords we're going to use, and this last chord right here is just a C sharp. And so it's just these notes right here. That should be this note right here. So it should be those notes there. That's the last chord. But if I play this, it kind of jumps around a bit, all right? And if I play those notes, so now we have the bass line with the triad chords, and it sounds like this. All right, and if we just left it like that, it kind of jumps around a whole bunch. So to go from this chord to that chord, it jumps, it's kind of a big jump. So to make it sound like it all plays together, we're gonna do what's called an inversion. We're gonna take some of these notes and we're gonna kind of flip them down. So I can hold shift in my arrow key and I can drop those two notes down an octave. And it's just the same as if I played the B major, or sorry, it's actually a B minor. And then I just dropped this F sharp down to a G. So it changes the sound of the chord, but it's actually the same chord. And it sounds like this now. And that last one, you can hear it kind of jumps up again, so it's kind of too big of a jump. So we'll take those top two notes and we'll flip those down. And so we're doing another inversion of just those notes. And so now it sounds a little bit more cohesive. So if we play it like this. And then, so I'll do the same thing for this chord over here. And we'll drop that down. And then this chord, I had moved some of these notes around as well. So we had this C sharp, which it should be this chord right here, but it's a little too high. So we'll bring it down. We play from here. So then it kind of brings it down a little bit. Right, so then just to keep it more up, play that. So it changes the sound of the chord. So we just invert those two. Okay, so now that we have the triads built out for this chord progression, then what you can do is you can start to add either an extra note in there, or if that can be a little too confusing by trying to figure out what the seventh is and all that kind of stuff. So what you can do is a really quick and easy way to break out of this triad trap is to simply take these chords that you have built out already. So we'll copy all of these and we're gonna Command C, Command V, paste them, and I'll shift arrow key up and I'll play. So now I have the same octave, I have the same chord playing an octave above it. So now it sounds like this. All right, so that sounds a lot different than this. And so you can use that a couple ways. You can either just have it playing like this one time, and then when it loops back around to play this again, you can add those notes back in there and then have it play like this. So it starts to take something that sounds not so full and then makes it sound fuller by just doubling up on those same chords that you had already made. So that's a really quick, easy way to get out of that basic triad trap. And instead of kind of leaving all these notes in here, you can start to kind of mute out or delete certain notes and see what it sounds like. I tend to mute them out first to see what it sounds like. So if you want to create a little bit more space within there, you can just go through and start muting out certain notes and see what it sounds like when you do it like that. Right, so then you can see what that sounds like. So it's going to change up the tones of the chords a little bit when you do stuff like that. And we can maybe do that. So that one note up here sounds a little too high, so we can take that out. And then, so now what you can start to do is make this more interesting by selecting all of these, and you can shorten the notes, right? And then now it becomes a little bit more rhythmic. And when you add stuff in where you have some extra, I threw in some like percussion and stuff in here just to make it more interesting. So now when you add this in, it starts to make it sound more rhythmic. All right, so I'll play this and I'll add in some of these percussion elements, and you can start to hear what it sounds like when you add something else on and some extra layers on top of it. So you can see it starts to get more interesting, and then you can start to just take these chords and you can copy and paste them and make some other rhythms out of these. So we can duplicate that Uh, Maybe duplicate that again. So you can start to, now you can have these rhythmic patterns going on within these chords. And this is stuff that I wouldn't be able to play myself, but I've been able to kind of create these chords, and then I can create an entire song based out of these chords and use these chords in a lot of different ways. So go in and pick out the key that you would like to produce in. You can copy just what I did here, just using the B minor scale. Go ahead and make your one note kind of progression using just these four notes. And then you can also expand it out a bit and take those four notes, double them up. So we duplicated those over to these other ones. And then I just changed up that last chord. So instead of keeping it in this A note, I just broke it up a little bit and I made it this C sharp. So if I zoom in a little bit here, it gets to this C sharp note and then back to this A before it goes back to the B again. So that is how I created this chord progression, was just using these bass notes. All right, and so then we doubled up, changed up a little bit on the end of it just to make it more interesting and give it a little bit of movement at the end of it. And then we created these chords here. And then we can undo these guys, undo this. And I'll just take it back to the chords that we had. So now if we just play that. And all we did was we took these basic triads that we had created, these chords, and I inverted these two chords here. So this chord right here and this chord right here, we did an inversion. We just took two of the top notes and moved them down an octave. And so it's the same chord, but it's just playing, it's playing a little bit lower, so that way it fits with these chords right here. So then it doesn't sound like it's such a big jump from this chord to that chord. All right, and so then you can use that, and once you've created that triad and you have it kind of sitting in there and it sounds nice, then you can double those chords up and start to mute out a couple notes. You can just double the notes and then leave it at that. But then the next step after that is to kind of create some space by removing some notes here and there, so you can take out some inner notes and things like that. And that's just a really quick and easy way. That's the way that I work, at least, and I find that it makes it a lot easier for me to create chords and chord progressions in that fashion. And then again, like I said, you could take all of these notes and you can start to shorten them up, and you can start to create a sort of rhythmic chord progression out of that, all right, and start to use those in different ways. All right, so my name is J.R. Noble. I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. If you got some kind of value out of that, be sure to drop a comment below and let me know what you like best about it. Also hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon. All right, let me edit this video. The larger. Hey, what's up, J.R. Noble here, and